With the recent development of controllers with various methods of directional inputs, many players of old and new FGC have been discussing the potential ban on these controllers. Tournaments are becoming more esports, so fair play and standardization is becoming a hot topic. As a person who have been building and playing on various custom controllers for years, I'd like to show you my thoughts on different types of controllers. Unlike my usual videos, this will have some personal opinion, so bear that in mind and let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. With that said, let's start off with analyzing the key aspects of a controller. One aspect is the directional input method of a controller. This will consider how the controller mechanically takes inputs from the player and transmits it to the game. There are generally two main types. First type is the single directional input controller. These are controllers that only allow one directional input at a time. This includes your typical stick and fighting game pad. The second type is multiple directional input controllers. These are controllers that can enter multiple directions simultaneously. These include button type controllers, where you can press multiple directions at once, and combo type controllers, where you have two or more combinations of pad, stick, and buttons. The main difference between the two types are that the users of multiple directional input controllers can enter combinations of conflicting directions. For example, button type controllers allow you to press forward and back at the same time. Now this is where you might be going, you can't go forward and backwards at the same time, and generally you are correct. But depending on the game and controller, going forward and backwards at the same time can result in new ways of executing commands. Let's take a look at some examples. In Street Fighter 4 and 5, if the game detects both forward and backwards inputs at the same time, it will prioritize the forward input. You can see me here holding back with the analog stick, but as soon as I press forward on the directional pad, Guile will move forward. This prioritization can be useful for charge characters because back charge can be immediately started after the forward direction is released. This could also help with back forward, charge super moves as well. Instead of 4 directional inputs on a single directional input controller, you can hold back and tap forward twice instead, resulting in one less input. Now Tekken 7 on the other hand, if forward and back are pressed at the same time, neither direction will be prioritized and the game will set the direction to neutral. This can create some interesting input methods for techniques such as the Korean backdash, where a player can dash backwards faster than doing repeated normal ones. I'm not going into full detail of the inputs here, as we already have a dedicated video for it, but parts of the input consist of back, down back, neutral, then back. In multiple directional input controllers, a player can hold back on one input, then tap down, then forward on the other. Tapping down while holding back emulates the down back and back inputs, while tapping forward emulates the neutral and back inputs. This method allows players to do this technique without entering diagonal inputs, which may be easier based on preference. With these examples, we can see how multiple directional input controllers can potentially create favorable execution options for certain games and characters. So should they be banned? Functionality-wise, they are no different than the already standard PlayStation and Xbox pads. And these controllers are generally allowed in most tournaments. If one multiple directional input controller is allowed, it should be fair to allow others. However, this is where some of you may argue the second aspect, the ergonomics of the controller. Is the access to the extra directions physically easier on certain controllers? The answer can be yes, depending on preference and body structure. Pressing directional buttons that are next to attack buttons may feel more comfortable compared to stretching your hands on pads. But difficulty in access has never stopped players from doing such inputs on standard pads. Tournament players have been doing dual input sonic booms since the Street Fighter 4 days. At this point, it may be more beneficial to provide these players a better ergonomic controller so that their hand health can be maintained. In conclusion, I personally would let these new controllers be allowed in tournaments as the functionality does not differ from standard pads. If we are going to ban these controllers, standard pads should be banned as well. Now, if you have a different opinion or think I missed some aspects, let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious on what you think. Thanks for checking out our video. We hope you found it helpful. If you like our content and want to continue seeing fighting game related videos, consider helping us out on Patreon. There will be links in the description and ending screen. We also have a FGC player and event finder at cleafdojo.com, so please check that out as well. Alright, till next time, have fun playing fighting games.